Morning, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be talking about loot table changes, possibly. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Now today I just really want to talk about a few things that have been on my mind throughout the last couple of weeks. Now this is due to the fact that the level squish is going to happen, and that means there's going to be a lot of corresponding things that could arise from this. Now, like we saw when the eye level changes or the eye level squish happened, we saw a lot of differences when it came towards drops in the open world, or also, if you remember, Zul'Farrak was dropping stuff that was originally unobtainable, and this is sparked in my head, and I was like, okay, right, what could we expect from the level squish? The first thing that came to my mind was the Miner's Hat of the Deep. This one is an item from Alderman, and it is a super mega rare item to get a hold of. And that is because it has an incredibly low drop chance and no one has had it drop forever, but it's still in the game files, and it used to drop before Cataclysm. Now with the level squish, we could actually see a rise in new items coming back in because of that level squish. Now obviously we don't know this before, because this is more along the lines of what's been actually on my mind through and my viewpoints on what could arise in the future. And the items of note that I actually dotted down for this, because I actually made a little list in order to keep an eye on noteworthy items that could be coming back into circulation, possibly through the level squish. And that could be the Jackhammer. The Jackhammer is a super low drop chance from Alderman as well, but due to the fact of the level squish, that could change some of the loot tables. That's really what I'm actually worried about, really. Because of the level squish, a lot of the loot tables could very well change, and this could make it a lot harder to get a hold of things like the glorious leg plates. Now for me, I'm actually buying out a couple of these and I'm holding onto them because I don't know what's going to happen. With the level squish, we could see different types of things happening when it comes towards the loot tables, i.e. certain items only drop within a certain level bracket. Will that be scaled to, is the question. So say that the most optimum way to get a hold of the glorious leg plates is to be a level 58 Death Knight within Silithus and farming up the Silithus farm. That is probably one of your best bets, and if you want to get a hold of the glorious leg plates or the T-Boo's Blazing Longsword because of the loot table. Now does this mean that you will have to be either level 58 as a scaled character in order to get that item to actually do that? So actually level 60 or 58 as in the new thing, or does the loot tables change and get squished with those changes? That is the question that I'm wondering about, because if that's the case, then glorious leg plate base could actually drop more frequently when you do that farm at max level with a max level character. It's something that's been on my mind, and the loot table changes could actually stop other different types of items from dropping anymore, or they could make them more frequent. It's just a case of which ones could be affected and all that stuff. So my list that I actually came up with was glorious leg plates, the Miner's Hat of the Deep, and Jackhammer, and the Black Phantom Blade. Now the glorious leg plates is one of the ones is a concern for me. That is I really want them to still drop, but another concern is if they start dropping more frequently out in the open world. That's one fear I have for that, because then it will lose a lot of value. The other thing of note is Miner's Hat of the Deep. My idea on that is it could very well start dropping again, and that would be quite awesome. The next thing of note is the same thing but with the Jackhammer. Jackhammer actually does drop very rarely, but it does drop. The thing is, with this level squish, will it affect the loot table to make it drop even more? That is my question, really. I really don't know that much about how the loot tables will be affected, much like any of us, but we can take a good stab at the dark at how it's actually going to perform in the future. So things like the Bat Venom Blade, the best way to get hold of is to go over to Duskwood with a rogue and pickpocket a load of undead ghouls underneath the crypts, and then open up the battered junk boxes in order to get hold of the Black Venom Blade. Well, with the item level Squish, what's going to happen with that? Is that going to be an unobtainable item because of the level Squish, because the loot table changes go up in value? This is the thing that's been on my mind quite a bit, and I'm just really curious to see what's going to actually happen when it comes to the world's loot tables. Will some super rare items start dropping more frequently? Will they not drop as frequently? Or will some common items actually become super rare because of the level Squish? Will the loot table change towards that, and it will be harder to get hold of those different types of mogs? So at this moment in time, I'm keeping a backlog of all of my transmog at the moment, because I don't actually know. Is my plan going forward is I'm doing as much transmog farming as possible, so I've got a bulk load of transmog to sell upon Shadowlands, but I want to make sure that these items are going to actually want to be able to be sold at their proper price. So if a loot table change does get caused by the level Squish, I'm actually prepared for it. I've got a backlog of all those different types of mogs, and some of them could be very well not drop anymore, which could increase their value or decrease their value depending on the item. So that's what I'm actually thinking about at the moment. I'm just merely thinking about what's going to happen with the loot table changes. Will the loot actually be affected by the level Squish? And overall, what do you actually think on what's actually going to happen? I want to know what you guys think, because I have I don't know, I like a gut feeling that a lot of items that are super hard to get hold of are actually going to drop a lot more frequently now, and that is what I'm going to keep an eye on. So be prepared. I will probably be farming up Alderman when Shadowlands has launched, and I've done all of my jargon and all that jazz, so that's something I am playing around with thus far. Other than that, I am planning on farming up a load of different things after the changes have come into effect and the level Squish has actually happened. So then I have a nice period of actually being able to test out, see what's actually happening, and see what happens with the loot tables, because we could very well see something along the lines of what happened in Legion with the eye level Squish happening with the level Squish for characters, and loot tables being affected because of that. That is pretty much what the idea of this video is just voicing my concerns about the level Squish, because I'm not against it. I'm just curious to see, or I'm actually curious to see what's going to happen to the loot tables when it comes towards levels being squished as opposed to the eye levels being squished in Legion. And I know that caused a little bit of unobtainable items to drop. Will that have the same effect when it comes to the level Squish with loot tables, is my idea. So what I really want to talk about is what's going to happen, what could possibly happen, and overall I would like you guys to be prepared for that eventuality. If the loot tables start dropping unobtainable items, I'd recommend probably farming those up, because they do go for a hefty chunk of gold, as they usually get hotfixed. Or some items may become unobtainable that you already have quite a backlog of. Just hold on to them if that happens, and then we can see a resurgence of that type of gold value coming up for those particular items. So that's basically what I'm doing at this moment in time. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say for today. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon? Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.